All right, so we live. So I had an interesting experience last night that I just wanted to ramble on and just say my thoughts on. So it was a panel. I was scrolling through TikTok. It was a panel called "The Bullying Light Skin versus Dark Skin." There's a war between light skin versus dark skin people, right? And I was just sitting there watching for a minute, whatever, just to hear the bullshit. Because there's always some bullshit that come out of people's mouths that is just it's inescapable. Like it's gonna fucking happen. So I was just sitting there. There was no light skinned people. It was like a one sided conversation, like it always is, right? Because people are scared to come up there and speak about things, I guess, or whatever, right? So I went up there, and because I went up there because there was this colored girl from South Africa, right? And she was speaking on her experiences, and they were talking about, well, colored is offensive in America, versus, and they were trying to say, well, y'all need to get rid of that word because, oh, it's division, like if mixed people have their own term, like they have their own race, they have their own ethnicity, and like they do in South Africa, that's just going to cause we all just need to unite under blackness. And I'm like, that don't even make no sense because in America we don't even have a term or nothing for mixed people, and there's division there, so that doesn't even make no sense. So I was just sitting here like, no, I disagree with all this what y'all talking about or whatever. So I jumped on there because there was somebody in the comments and it's like, how are we gonna have like a one-sided conversation about this? So I jump on there, and the first thing I started talking about was, okay, so the division, I try to get like to the root cause. Okay, if there's really a war or a division there, like what's the root cause of it? So the root cause of it is really like privilege, right? Like a perceived privilege that light skinned people have, and that causes a lot of hurt. And it's like, oh, y'all, and then we think we're better because of this privilege, right? That's where the whole root of the divide is. And I brought that up, right? So I was like, so how can you heal that? Like, how can you heal, like, y'all think mixed light skinned people are privileged, so there's always going to be a divide there, and that we think we're better. And I'm so tired of this. Y'all think you're better. Like it's deeper than that. Like y'all got to think deeper than just like, oh, do you think you're better than somebody? Like it's not just do you think you're better. Like there's so many layers to this. Like it's not even just they just think they better than us. So it always boils down to that. Like people are so simple minded when it comes to things. Nobody want to think deeply into the whole. And it's the whole colorism topic. I'm so sick of talking about the whole colorism, but it's just inescapable. If you're a light skinned mixed person in a mixed space, colorism is just nonstop topic. So I was like, all right, because I gotta take a break from these things. I can't keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, okay, let me take a break from this topic. Think about it, reflect. Really sit with it, and then I could maybe speak on it again, right? So I went in there, and I was talking about. I was like, okay, so how do you heal that? I don't know. Nobody really thinking of like any solutions or nothing. It's just like all just talk just for views, right? So it's not really like I was like, I really don't take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing to really be taken seriously, like these little TikTok panels and stuff like that. Because it's just talk and it's cool. Get to like know different people's mindsets and stuff. But it's nothing we already don't know. Like we already know how these folks feel about us, right? It's like y'all can't have your own, but you can't, be on the forefront or whatever of what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. So I went in there and I was like, I started talking about that. Like that's the root cause of things. And this other girl, it's like all these other little like mixed people started popping up as soon as I was up there talking, like for mixed people or whatever, and talk about my own experience. Because I was like, look, it really do start in home, right? Because in my experience, like, my mom, she's a black woman and my sister's fully black, but she made it a point to not like treat us differently, right? Like she made it a big point. So none of that colorism was like, oh, you're being treated better because you're light skin. That was not in my household because of my mother, right? So it's like it starts when you're a child. Like you have to, if the parents are in that mindset, they're gonna pass. It's a generational thing. So that's where it starts. It always starts in the home, right? So that's what I was trying to tell the people, right? And then this other girl jumped on it. This is where I disagree with, right? She was like, yeah, when I was growing up, I was always getting bullied, and I was like, oh, you that light skinned girl, you the fast light skinned girl, da, 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 da. Like that was her experience growing up or whatever. But then she used to like get hot about it, like she used to get mad about it or whatever. But then she's like, well, I've come to understand, what dark skinned people go through, and so I don't really get mad about it anymore. But I was like, no, I disagree with that. Like, if you're not treating somebody like that, then you don't deserve to be treated like that, period, right? Like, if somebody is sitting here disrespecting you, why are you gonna sit there and take it? Because they've dealt with a lot of disrespect in their life. Like that don't even make no sense. That's why I was like, I don't disagree with that because I'm not treating nobody with disrespect. So nobody's gonna sit here and disrespect me because of my skin color, because of what other people have done to them. Like they're not gonna be able to take. Like she was basically saying that, oh yeah, they should have every right to take their bullshit out on us. And I was like, no, they don't have any right. Nobody has no right to take their bullshit out on you. Okay, just because the shit happened to them. Like that's where I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But that's just something I fully disagree with. And I felt like people really had this mindset that it's okay to get treated like shit because other people have treated them like shit. Like that's crazy to me. So that's something I just had to speak on because I was like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like, what in what world is that logical or okay? That's fine. That I don't know. I just felt like that don't even make no sense. But I guess that's a mindset a lot of people have. That's a mindset that a lot of people have that is cool. But I wanted to talk about what Ant was talking about. His live stream about the drama, like how I be in it sometimes. I wanted to address that real quick too. So I really don't like the drama. It's not something I enjoy, but you can't really escape it in these spaces. But that's why I'd be disappearing from these spaces for so long because I kind of just like dip out because I'm just like, there's only so much you could take. I'm just like, you know what? I can't really take all this for too long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I watch it and I try not to engage with it. You know what I'm saying? I really try to just stay in my lane, just stay on the topic of like talking about mixed race people and stuff like that. I try to just stay on topic and not really talk about people. But yeah, I've been messy. Well, nobody's perfect. Like nobody's perfect. Yeah, I can be hypocritical. I'm a human being. It's cool. It's fine. And anybody, like, whatever y'all think about me, whatever anybody thinks about me on the internet, like, I'm totally okay with. Like, I don't really take anything personally or nothing. Like, I'm not mad. Like, it's cool. Like, whatever you got to say is fine. I don't really let it bother me. So that's why I like to protect my mental health. That's why I disappear for so long. Because if things start to affect my mental health, I'm like, no, that's not. I don't let nothing affect my mental health. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something that I'm not gonna let affect me like that. That's why I'll step away and come back. But I do really enjoy these topics. I think that I'm going to be going live on TikTok later. I'm getting back on my TikTok game. I think there is like a bigger community and stuff over there. More people talking about these certain things. And we do need more mixed people like stepping up and like speaking for ourselves. And I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things. I like thought experiments. I like to experiment with like different thoughts and like what if this or what if that, like that's just like the part. It's like the fun in it. Like even with like the terms, like I like to just play around with it. I'm not gonna take it like so serious. Like we have to do this or we have to do this. Like I don't know. I just like to play around and see like what is gonna fit, what is gonna work for mixed race people. It's like a journey and an experiment that is like I'm on, that I like to play around with and just try to do my best with and have fun with. But yeah, I mean, I had to speak on that though because I really think that that's something that is a really prevalent mindset within mixed race people that don't make no sense to me. Don't let nobody disrespect you just because they dealt with a lot of disrespect in your life. Like, don't let nobody do that. Like, no, have some self-respect. Okay, don't let nobody beat you down because they've been beat down in life. Okay, as if you're not the one participating in it, you're not the one doing it, then you don't deserve it. Period. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be beaten down because other people have just. No, we're not. I want to speak on that more. Like, I want to make sure like that's a message that really needs to be put out more. That no, if you're a light-skinned mixed person and you're dealing with shit in the community, no, you shouldn't. You should stand up for yourself and be like, okay, this is not okay. I don't treat you like that, so you gonna treat me with the same respect. It's about mutual respect here. Like, if you don't fucking treat me with respect, go to the motherfuckers that treated you like that and then take your shit out on them. Go stand up to them motherfuckers. Don't come around and take your shit out on somebody else that you feel like you could get away with and it's okay and make it socially acceptable for you to take your bullshit out on somebody else. Like, that's crazy to me. So I feel like that's fucking crazy to me. And that made me really like, I was like, nah. I ain't gonna live my life like that. Like, I would never accept that in my household. No, never. Never, ever. So, but I wanted to speak on that, when biracial people do start to speak up and, start speaking on their voice, it's like they try to shut us down so much. And it's like, we can't let that shit happen because people love to talk about us. Like, that's views. Like, when I was on the other guy, his views were not that good. And then he started talking about light skin versus dark skin and biracial people and all this shit. And then his views started shooting up. So it's like, it's fun to talk about people, but actually talking to somebody and actually trying to get an understanding and actually trying to, solve problems and actually building bridges, like that's a totally different ballgame that's out of people's league sometimes. But just talking about people and making up theories and making up narratives and making up, stuff that, suits you and benefits you, you don't have to take the other person into consideration about their thoughts and what they feel like. That's easier to do, to like, because that's centering yourself, right? That's just self-centering. So that's what happens a lot of Black spaces that, they should center themselves and they exclude a lot of biracial people and they don't really want to include them into the conversation a lot of the time. And so we could, they just want to take a narrative and run with it. because it benefits them. So that's just what I've seen. That's just what I noticed. That's just the more, internet space that's getting a lot of traction and getting a lot of, so it's a lot out there though. So, but yeah, that's all I want to talk about. I just really wanted to address that and just speak on it, just put it out there in the universe so maybe somebody can just don't let that shit happen to you. Like don't have that mindset that you can take a bunch of shit. Like that really fucked with me. I was like, no. And I just don't want no mixed people feeling like that. Like, just because they're born the way they're born, nobody can control how you're born. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Thank you for listening. Bye, y'all. Y'all have a great day.